back to audio. People can't see our lovely, lovely faces.
Yeah, and I've got a nice suit on.
Ah, well, you can describe it for our many, many listeners.
Checked.
Right, let me do the intro then. Stop faffing.
I'm not faffing.
Stop faffing.
I'm concentrating.
Hey there, creative minds and business enthusiasts. Welcome to Looks Like We Made It, the podcast where we dive deep into the dynamic world of video marketing, content creation, and all things creative. I'm Izzy, your guide through this creative journey, wearing two hats, head of production and senior video editor. But I'm not in this alone. Meet the other half of our dynamic duo, my dad, Chris, our director and creative genius behind Howell Media. Together, we're not just a podcast, we're a father-daughter team on a mission to bring you insights, tips, and laughs from the heart of the creative industry. Whether you're a business looking to up your video game or a budding creative hungry for knowledge, this is the place to be. We've got real-life experiences, expert advice, and a sprinkle of anecdotes to keep things interesting. So, if you're ready to unlock the power of video, bespoke content, and training to achieve amazing results, you're in the right spot. Fasten your seatbelts because this is Looks Like We Made It, where we turn creativity into success, one episode at a time.
And breathe.
Every time. But
Hey,
well, we're back to being
this is different.
we're back to being a podcast.
This is different, though.
Only temporarily.
Okay.
Temporarily. The reason
Is
why
there a secret?
there is a secret. And this episode is actually full of surprises. I'm surprising you with the topic, and I have a surprise as well.
I have a surprise.
Go on then.
Cereal for lunch.
Oh no, I stole your sandwich, didn't I?
I tell you what. It's the future.
Do you feel good?
It's amazing. I'm gonna go for it.
Would you class it as a second breakfast?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, I've had cereal for lunch and I liked it. This is not good content, is it?
Is that
Right.
like the Katy Perry song? I had cereal for lunch and I
Right.
liked it.
Come on, serious.
Okay. So the question I have today is, oh, it's not really a question. I thought it was a question.
Is it more of an observation?
It's a statement, and we're going to undress and unpack the statement.
Okay, let's do
Right.
it.
So we're going to talk all about why video marketing isn't just for big brands anymore.
Ooh.
So that I knew I'd surprise you with it
Oh,
because
okay.
actually you haven't had
So-
time to think, which means you're at your most authentic.
Authentic like. So just to throw that back at you, was video marketing always for big brands?
Well, when you
What
think,
have you based your question on?
well, when you break it down, I think what it effectively means is that big brands have the big ad spends, they have the big budgets, they have the big marketing
I see,
teams,
yeah.
big businesses basically that can throw tens of thousands of pounds on TV advertising, on social media marketing. But why is it that video marketing isn't just for them anymore?
Well, because it's accessible. The point of entry literally is you literally need a phone and that's it. The point of entry for video marketing is the lowest it has ever been in the history of the universe.
Yeah.
And the point of entry for anything that used to be high-end creative is now accessible. And the only barrier, in reality, the only barrier for you not doing it is your own time, lack of skills and knowledge, and your own inclination, and having something to say,
You've done
and
that.
confidence.
You've done that thing where you've explained the entire podcast episode in one statement. We've run out of things to say now.
No, we
Gotta
can break them
it
down
We've
now.
got to break it down. So I think for me, I was gonna say yes, all those 5 that you listed.
Why don't you go back and delete those things I said?
Well, I can't because you're a runaway train. You're just going. I think basically there's those 5. I think you said 5. I'm going to add a 6th, which is confidence.
I think I said that at the end.
Did you?
If anybody would like to rewind and say what I actually said. No, well, let's unpack those things then. So,
Yeah.
like as I said,
If you can remember them all.
I can remember. Of course, I can remember them.
Go on then.
So, look, the first thing is it's accessible. Like I say, like literally a tenner on a tripod from Amazon, a cheapo light ring, mobile phone, and you are up and running. Free bit of editing software. You might want to splash, 30 quid on a half decent microphone, but ultimately it's all there.
But not even that. I mean, like,
Or even not even that, just get out and get your phone.
yeah. Well, I was going to say use your phone, but then obviously you've got your social media apps which have built-in editing softwares. You've got like Instagram Reels, you've got TikTok, you've got Facebook Reels, you've got all of these YouTube Shorts. YouTube, you can actually edit on YouTube now, I believe, as well.
So I'm going to throw this back to you then. Do you need a plan, or should I just get my phone out now and make a video. Well, I know I'm recording a podcast, but you know what I mean? Like, should you have a plan or should you just go out and do it?
So this is where I'm going to use the fame. If you are a previous listener of Looks Like We Made It, you'll know these two words very well. And everyone repeat after me: a 1, a 2, a 3. It depends.
It does depend.
It does depend. Because actually,
depends mugs will be available soon.
Get your it depends. Yeah. No, but what I mean is that you can. It's a bit like how long's a piece of string. You can plan as much as you want, but actually you have to look at the life cycle of that content or the lifespan of that content. So if you have, so it's all baked into a bigger strategy and a bigger plan. So I never suggest anyone go out and scattergun random videos willy-nilly when they feel like it. But at the same time, if you have a strategy which is going to include scattergunning willy-nilly when you're at events, etc.
And you probably should be, not necessarily to use in your kind of final thing, but you really should be out there practicing and doing some stuff. Because actually that's the other thing. You can do loads of stuff, take your phone out, get your phone out, whatever it might be, even use a camera, like, because cameras are quite accessible too.
Yeah.
And actually you can make things and go, you know what, I'm not going to use it, but I've learned a lot about how I look, how I sound, how the lighting looks, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can learn from it and then use your real your real material and your real content as part of your strategy.
Totally, absolutely. And I think that's where looking at the lifespan of a piece of content is probably more important.
It's about 9 seconds, isn't it? At the moment.
It's probably more important than the actual strategy itself, because yes, your overarching plan should entail like a bigger thing. So you're looking at the next sort of, you might say the 30 days is my plan, or 3 months is my plan, or whatever it may be. But within that, you could say, right, well, in my strategy is to get more clients or through networking. So therefore, I'm going to go to 5 networking events. But also, while I'm at these 5 networking events, I'm going to do 5 little videos, which I'm going to put on social media about these events that people can then engage with and talk about. And then I get a conversation going. I connect with people. You build up that network and you reinforce that network. The thing you shouldn't do is just randomly panic and pick random networking events and then think, oh crap, I need to do a video now, or oh, I forgot to do it here. It should all be planned ahead in advance. A bit like, when you're watching like the news and stuff, and they have those segments in between news stories where they have a little bit of like small talk, and they kind of they sort
awkward, you mean?
The awkward, uncomfortable small talk. But that's all planned out as well. That's all scripted. It's all, but like it's made to feel like it's not. So your strategy should encompass your basically what you want to do at the end of it. So I would say that, and obviously lifespan of content is that if you're going to do short form content, vertical videos that you see on Reels and TikTok, the scrollable stuff, that really has a lifespan of possibly it could be anywhere from 10 minutes to 10 days, but it's often about 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that sort of content, if you're only going to expect it to exist for a set amount of time, you don't have to invest hours and hours and hours of time doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So that was going to be my next question. Like how much effort do you put into content that is going to ultimately have quite a short shelf life?
Well, yeah, that's where you basically just you invest a smaller amount of time than you would if you were making a massive FAQ batch of videos to go on YouTube or to go on your website, like stuff that basically has the lifespan of, you want to use it, you want to roll it out for a couple of years. That has to have more planning and more, because it's going to have impact that has to last a longer time.
So here's a question then. How original should your content be? Like you look at, say you're looking at whatever platform is your favorite, and you see somebody that's produced some really cool content, and you think, actually, I could lean into that a little bit. There's elements of what that person's doing or that person's showing. I'm not talking about kind of blatantly copying or stealing stuff, but like, is it okay to go, actually, you know what? I'm gonna just borrow a little bit of that kind of, that kind of look and the feel or the style.
Totally.
Or whatever. Like, because I think that's a challenge for a lot of people, that it's a challenge for everybody. You've got a blank sheet of paper or your phone in front of you, or you wrote down all these things that you think, oh, I'm going to deliver an amazing original content. And in some regards, just almost like recycling
Oh, totally.
other people's content.
And actually,
Makes sense.
recycling content is actually one of the biggest, most important things you can do on social media. So, with
I'm
that
not talking
short,
about sharing necessarily. I'm talking about kind of like if you watch a video or you watch
they're
something that
taking
someone and
elements of it.
you think actually I like the way they've come across there. I'm going to try and mimic that. I'm
Yeah,
going to try and
totally.
recreate that.
And that is something that is absolutely crucial on social media. So you look at, so for example, like everyone talks about TikTok dances, or when people, it feels like it's a trending audio. Do you know what trending audio is?
Trending audio.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you explain.
Okay, that's a very diligent answer. It's basically if you're on Instagram or TikTok or any of these platforms that have short form content, it identifies if there's a certain piece of audio that you can use to make your videos in that platform. It identifies as if it's being used quite a lot by different creators. And then basically, if it is being used a lot by different creators and you use it, it's getting a good build up of viewers on the algorithm. So technically, if you use trending audio, you're more likely to have your video appear in other things. So technically, it's actually encouraging you to mimic other people's content, because it's saying, here's a bit of audio that everyone else is using. It's been used 200,000 times. Join it. But the bit that I would say, yes, take inspiration. Yes, you can literally openly repeat and mimic other people's videos completely. You could completely rip it off.
It should still be your opinion and
But
your
this is what I was saying. It's taking the essence of what that video is and applying it to your own niche. So it's taking a video where someone's pointing and on the beat and text pops up, and actually it's saying, oh yeah, I could do that. I don't want to talk. I could point and put a bit of text up. I could point a bit of text up. But actually it's understanding what text is going to pop up is actually relevant to my audience.
Yeah, and it's got to be right for whatever it is you're trying to communicate. It has to match that, doesn't it?
Totally, because otherwise it's just like you're just throwing content out there for content's sake, and that's not something that you ever want to do. It's applying it to that strategy.
So how long ahead, if when you've got this content plan,
Mm-hmm.
so how long ahead should you be planning for?
It depends.
It depends.
It's anything from, like I said, it all depends on that content lifespan. So if you have a piece of content that you want to be your flagship bit of content that you're going to use in every pitch, you're going to use it in every on your website, on your landing page, you're going to use it and refer to it quite a lot, and you're going to use it a lot, and you want to get a lot out of it, you need to plan quite a lot. So you'll want to kind of work probably closely with a video production company, aka like us, who will guide you into how much, and they'll almost tell you what they need. And we would say, right, this is the information we want to get from you, what you want to do with it, what's your goal out of it, and that kind of drives that plan. If it's just for the sort of everyday bits and bobs on social media 2 to 3 times a week, whatever it may be, if it's part of that wider stuff but it's got a short lifespan, you don't expect it to do much than get some interest here and there and prove you're around, that you could literally plan it 10 seconds before you do it.
Well, I think also there's a thing as well, isn't there, whereby is it important that homemade stuff, i.e., that it's just you've literally just grabbed your phone, your light ring, your little microphone, you're making some content to the camera, that should always look a little bit homemade. Do you know, when something's so polished and so professional that you almost lose some of that authenticity? Yeah. So like as an example, if someone hired us as a professional video production company to then make them kind of like a real short form piece to camera, it would look quite jarring, I imagine. I think there's well, in fact, this is what I think. I don't know about. I'd be interested to get your opinion, because actually, still looking a bit homemade, but nicely polished and thought through, is probably the right balance to strike, as opposed to it looking just really terrible.
Yeah.
Versus looking totally polished, that it's obviously been produced professionally. I think getting a halfway house for kind of instant, get a message out there, short form stuff. I think that's the balance to strike.
But
Do you agree?
Do I agree? Well, I was going to say, to take us back to the question, which is, or the statement.
It was a statement. It wasn't a question.
It was a suggestion, whatever it is. Which is basically, is video marketing just reserved for the big brands? Is that actually is an interesting concept, because you look at how influencers are used by big brands now to appear more everyday, to appear more homemade, to appear more like relevant to everyday people. So you've got like you'll have big brands, like I've mentioned them before in a previous podcast, but a big brand like Wild deodorant, for
Are
example.
you on commission?
No, but I wish I was, because this is what I was going to say, is that they actually...
You should become an affiliate, and you get like 10 pence every time you mention them or something.
Well, you never know. If you're listening, Wild, get in touch. But basically, so they're a great example of people who effectively, I think a lot of their marketing comes through influencers and people saying, I use this and this is great. And it's people that you like and associate yourself with and are interested in but the fact that they're promoting a big brand, you don't feel like you're watching an advert. And that's where I think big brands are actually accessing video marketing in the way that everyday people are, is by showing everyday people, because people want to know what's real and what's not. And often being more homemade and showing real people has a bigger impact because you know it's real.
Well, big brands are including that in their mix, aren't they?
Totally.
So they're still having their kind of high order, high production values, key messaging stuff. But what you've talked about there is just part of their marketing mix.
And here's a question then to go with our
This
statement.
Is actually a question or a statement?
It's I'll decide. Well, I'm mid statement, question, whatever it is. It's basically, what is I obviously showed you it around Christmas. What is your opinion on the Coca-Cola completely AI generated Christmas ad that went out? Granted, it's February, so it's been a while.
What's my opinion of the Coca-Cola Christmas ad that went out?
It was entirely AI
I know
generated.
It was. You showed it to me. You ranted and raved at the time. What's my opinion of it?
Because that's another way big brands are using it.
I have a probably a double-edged opinion, which is probably going to be like not make any sense. Probably just tons of like conflict and nonsensical nonsense.
Don't put yourself down like that.
No, part of me thinks, yeah, great, just do it. Come up with an idea, make AI, make it, just do it. Then part of me thinks, you know what, you're a massive super brand. Put a bit more effort into the damn thing. It's a bit, maybe it's just a bit cheap. I don't know, but then they were probably making a statement. Hey, look what we made from AI. I think, do you know what? And I've been quite vocal about this in the office. You've got to embrace it. Yeah. AI is great. You've got to embrace it. It's just another tool. It's another tool in the toolbox. So my opinion is, it worked. It did a job. It looked visually appealing. Most people in the world wouldn't even know, because that's the other thing.
Yeah.
But you don't look at it and go, that's a bit off. You look at it. You don't look at it at all. You think, hey, it's Coca-Cola, such a recognizable brand.
But we're talking about it now, so it's obviously it's working.
So my opinion my opinion is, yeah, great. It's just an example of a broader brush being used.
But that's, I think, the reality is that it's not just big brands that have access to video marketing anymore, and that's kind of the message that we're always hammering home to people, is that anyone can do it, but also you are on the same playing field as these big brands as well. Yes, they have massive budgets, and certain people might not. Like the large majority of us don't have the budget of Coca-Cola, but you are all following the same rules on social media, so they are still beholden to the same goalposts changing as we are. So it's like, if Instagram suddenly turned off tomorrow, that would impact us and it would impact Coca-Cola, and it would impact Peugeot, and it would impact, all these big companies, because they're on the same platform as us. So you almost have a slightly level playing field, but it's all about how you use it. And I think that just throwing stuff out there for stuff's sake is pointless.
I think that the term playing field is a good one to use there, because ultimately the key thing is just get on the pitch. And there are so many people that are sitting on the sidelines. There are so many people just sitting in the stands. I'm going to keep this analogy going. I like it.
I like it.
Do you know what I mean? Just get on the pitch. Just run about a bit. Just get on the pitch.
To quote your favourite person at the minute.
My favourite person at the minute?
Daniel Priestley. It's not me, because, it never is me, but Daniel Priestley, your favourite person. When he
minute, yes.
When he said
other authors are available.
Well, he emphasised the point, which I really like, which is if you look at LinkedIn, only 1% of people on LinkedIn are posting weekly. That's 99% of people using LinkedIn. That's 1 billion people. 99% of them aren't posting weekly. So actually, the playing field isn't as busy as you think. You look at like YouTube. Only 4% of YouTube there's only 4% of people on YouTube, of users of YouTube, that actually have an active account and actually make content. But you feel like there's that you almost feel like you've missed the boat because everyone else is doing it already. That pitch that you're talking about isn't as busy as you think, and you can get yourself onto it, and you can make a start.
100%. And I think that, and then that kind of dovetails and comes full circle back to the beginning, which is you just need to just get amongst it. You just need to just get over yourself. If you acknowledge that what are you laughing at?
Get over yourself.
Get over yourself.
That's a supportive voice.
If you acknowledge and embrace that video marketing is a good thing and could benefit you and your business, then if you acknowledge that and then don't go ahead and do anything about it, then isn't that just, the definition of madness is to do the same thing and expect different results. Well, if the same thing is not doing anything, well, you're not going to get any results, are you? You may as well commit to something and crack on and do it. I find it baffling that people don't do more. I find it, and I know people's circumstances are different and people's, for whatever the barriers are for them not doing it. But as you said, most people don't. So you may as well just by doing something, you stand out in the crowd, don't you? You stand out from the crowd just by doing something.
Yeah, and that's what those big brands are doing, is that they're just standing out. They're just pushing, they're just using their voice wherever and whenever that they can.
And also, I think as well that people are very, very self-conscious. People are very, very concerned about that. They think they're going to look foolish, or they think they're going to come across wrong, or they think they're going to, whatever their sort of whatever's holding them back. But in my experience, if you're just yourself, if you like with this podcast, if you meet us away from this podcast. This is it. This is what you get. This is not kind of like podcast, Chris.
And if you're,
this is just me talking.
But if you're at the event in Newcastle,
I'm taller than your sound.
Can you sound tall? Is that a thing? Do tall people write in? Do you sound tall? I never even thought of that. But do I sound short? But
well, everyone's short compared to me.
That's true. But I was going to say, if you are in Newcastle on the 26th of February between 7 and 9 p.m, we are at the Haylofts talking all about podcasting, aren't we?
Are we live?
We're live. And actually, we're talking about it to people who basically want to talk to us, not the other way around.
What date is that?
The 26th of February on a Wednesday.
2025?
Yes. Just in case
so
it's 2028 and you're listening.
Is this podcast going out on the 28th or something?
No, this is going out the day before. So if you're listening now and you're in Newcastle, sign up. But hopefully, if you are at that event, you'll see that it is literally just us. Like there's no smoke and mirrors about it. It's just us enjoying talking.
Take my smoke machine and my mirror with me.
You dress as smoke and I'll dress as a mirror. And no, but that anyway. Yes. We're going off topic here.
That's very off topic.
So my. So yeah, do you feel like we answered the question?
Well, I think we also regardless of the question,
we'll get there
that we get asked. The answer seems to be give it a go, and it depends.
Yeah, I feel like we made 6 seasons of just that answer. So
that's it. Yes, I think we've answered it. Just in a kind of roundabout
give it a go
fashion.
Give it a go. Right. Well, we've got loads of guests coming up in the next few weeks.
Are we going to say why this is not a vodcast?
It's entirely up to you, my lord.
Well, we're setting up a new studio, and we're setting up a cool new environment.
We're basically in the process of moving, so we're sat around boxes.
We're sat around boxes, and we're in the process of moving.
Yes, so it's a big one, but we've got some really exciting stuff coming soon. We've got some really exciting guests coming up as well. So we've got people coming up in the next few weeks, which hopefully you'll really enjoy listening to as well. And so I have a silly question for you.
Okay.
I've been picking my brains on it, but basically, what was your favourite sweet as a child?
I was never really into sweets as a child. Do you know, it's interesting.
What would you have, like Benson and Hedges?
Yeah, a couple of
whiskies.
I was never really. I was never a big fan of sweets or chocolate or anything. Really? I was that kid that I always preferred like a piece of pork pie or a chicken leg or something. Favorite sweets as a kid. Well, there used to be a thing called a Texan bar back in the day.
Oh,
and it's kind of like a chewy, imagine like 5 curly whirlies fused together, but really hard.
That hurts my teeth just thinking about it.
A Texan bar. But no, I never had a sweet tooth.
Interesting.
And we were too poor for sweets.
That's because we had to
suck on a pebble.
Okay, well that's the 1970s answer. I think. Well, for me, it was a Star Bar. I love a Star Bar. I still eat them now, and I realize that it's basically 10 meals in one. It's like you feel your heart beating faster. But here's my surprise. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I have an outro for the first time in Looks Like We Made It history.
Okay, folks.
I have an outro.
Oh, I'm going to sit back and listen.
Hold on to your butts and listen to this. And that's a wrap on this episode of Looks Like We Made It. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to hit follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop us a message or tag us on social media with your biggest takeaway. Not like a fish and chips or anything or your order. Need help with video marketing, content creation, or just want to chat about your ideas? Reach out to us at Howell Media and we'd love to help you bring your vision to life. Until next time, keep creating, keep learning, and as always, keep making it happen. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
What do you think?